Welcome back, guys. You're watching 1700 on this Tuesday. We've got local artist Jules Sheldon here with us. Thanks for joining us, Jules.
Hello, my pleasure.
You've got lots of great things coming up this year. One of them's a new album you've been working on.
Yeah, I have been. First one I've recorded in about 6 years now.
Wow.
And yeah, it took a lot to do it. I very much went off playing solo for a long time and had a bit of time playing in a noise rock band called The Primary. And yeah, just kind of felt inspired to go back and do that again and write my strange little suburban stories again. So yeah, it's nice doing it again, and yeah, just really enjoying it for once.
That's nice.
So music's always sort of been in you, has it? Or have you been making it for as long as you can remember, or?
For me, I've always loved it. Since I love saying this, I'm just going to say it all over again, but when I was little, I performed David Bowie songs on Christmas Day in full dress-up, courtesy of my parents. Thanks, Mum and Dad, you're watching. It sort of started there, but for me, it wasn't always about musicianship. I was always interested in songs and songwriting and words and metaphor and all that sort of stuff. So that's what got me into it, because I can play. I've got to the point where I'm pretty happy with my guitar playing, but it's songwriter first and foremost, because words are what inspire me and words are what interest me.
Yeah.
So, but I've been doing that songwriting now probably about 7 or 8 years, I'd say, 7 or 8 years now, since I was about 14.
Wow. So speaking of songwriting, your new song Bleathen Kicks the Score,
Yeah.
which you're performing later.
Yeah.
It's about an anxiety attack at a party or something, is that right?
Absolutely. It was a funny little instance at a friend's house where I went there and probably should have stayed home that night, but wasn't feeling my best, and being quite a sports fan, as you can tell, like Alice, I was watching old clips of Essendon play from the 70s. There was this great player called Jeff Bleathen, who had something like 16% vision, wore thick rimmed glasses while playing, but somehow kicked 100 goals that season. So he's a freak of medical nature. Like, no, I don't know how you could do that. But sometimes when a person has anxiety attacks, you get images stuck in your head. And I got the image of him kicking a goal stuck in my head. Wow. So I went to this party and had a complete and utter freak out because I couldn't get the image of him out of my head, which in retrospect is quite funny. But yeah, it was just kind of one of those odd things which you think of as a songwriter where you're just like, that's quite unusual. I'm gonna write a song about that.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
I was going to ask you, sort of stock standard question is, what are some of your influences that influence you to make the music that you do? It's pretty obvious that sport is a big factor in that, and also your location here in Melbourne. And you were mentioning just before we came on air that you've got some heritage going back to England.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
What are some of these other influences that have sort of helped you make the music that you do?
It sounds kind of cliche, but definitely the album title. Football, trams, parties, and other extended highlights. That's pretty much the influence of it, I'd have to say. It's just, I've been saying for a long time to people that, like, everywhere else in the world gets the credit for stories of humble stories, just stories of normal people and all that. And Australia doesn't get none because we have a certain level of cultural cringe. In some respects for good reason, because of, just because of certain factors in the way that this country is founded. But overall, it's like we have stories to tell as well. It's just, Melbourne's a funny place. Melbourne's a place of contradictions.
It's definitely very interesting. We're looking forward to hearing that come out in your song when you perform it for us. We're going to go to another song now. Your song, I hope you enjoy it. You're watching 1700. Don't go anywhere, because we're going to be joined back here with Jules very soon. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back, guys. That was Empty Walls by Surge, and we're still joined here with Jules Sheldon, a local artist.
Still standing.
Still here. So your new album, you said, was footballs, trams, parties, and other extended highlights. Have you ever thought about doing a tram session? Have you seen these tram
absolutely.
sessions?
I've sent them plenty of emails, but they never get back. But they kind of probably underestimate the fact that I know the internal operations probably have to drive the trams in which they get on. So it's I can understand why they might feel intimidated by that.
Yeah. Maybe you should just take it into your own hands one day.
I reckon
I'm
I
sure
might.
that'd be
I reckon
awesome.
I might.
Just jump on with the guitar.
Well, I've driven a tram before, so
Really?
Yeah, a tram museum in Adelaide. So I've driven one before, so I could probably just get on, hijack it, and do my own thing. Just put a gig on there. That's a good idea. No one steal that.
Yes.
No one steal that.
We'll be
Patent
there.
pending.
You've done a lot of gigs this year, and under obviously your musical act that
Yeah.
you're doing right now. You've also played for artists like Tim Rogers in the past.
Well, I haven't played for, I played support.
Played support.
Played support.
Played support
If I
with,
played support to Tim Rogers, I'd have a much bigger grin on my face right now. But I supported him at a St Kilda festival thing done at Pure Pop Records, may that lovely venue rest in peace. I did it in support to him and a few other artists, just Conway Savage and Cape and Bad Seeds a few years back. And needless to say, I was quite a little fanboy, because it was when I was a lot younger.
Definitely. So what were those experiences like for you?
Well, I grew up around a lot of older musos, and they taught me a lot of stuff, because I had Spencer Jones produce my first record, and Spence taught me a lot. You can only learn from being around people like Spencer P. Jones or Laura McFarlane or those sorts of people, because they've had so much experience. They know the ropes, they know the good and bad of the scenes. So, quite frankly, like, if you don't learn, then you need to have a hard look at what you're doing, because it's like these people have gone around the world, have played for incredible artists and all that. And it's just, yeah, you kind of, in those situations you have to really just sit back and just take it in, because you can only learn to benefit from that.
Well, speaking of gigs, you've got a gig, is it this Friday night at the Drunken Poet?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, awesome. What can people expect from your set?
That's a good question. Well, I will have worked that day, so I might be slightly tired. But look, pretty much what to expect is first set of old songs and a whole set of new records. And yeah, it should be great. Poet's fantastic little venue, you know. It's a really nice place. But actually, believe it or not, was voted one of the best Irish pubs outside of Ireland in the entire world.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's a wonderful little venue. And just come down, be nice and relaxed. Yeah, it's probably about the best info I can give you on it.
Awesome. Well, I know that you have quite a fond sort of feeling towards a lot of different venues around Melbourne. You wrote your song on the Palais in St Kilda. So what would be your favourite venue around Melbourne then?
Oh, that's a good question. I won't comment, because a few of my friends book them and are probably sitting there thinking, geez, if I could just send him a text to spruik me right now, then I would. But I'd probably have to say it would be Reverence Hotel or the Evelyn Hotel.
Good choice.
Great venues. Well, you're watching 1700, and Jules is going to be singing for us after this. We've got lots of great clips coming up, and enjoy. Stay tuned.